drinking out of this cup was appropriate while actually reading a book called Book Lovers. That is just the type of person that I am. Today's the 15th of April. I was going to say February, it's not. It's the 15th of April. It's Friday, but it's Good Friday, so I have today off work. And I also have Monday off work, Easter Monday, so I'm not back into the office until Tuesday. You may have seen that yesterday I went up to the library because it was the last day that it was going to be open until Tuesday. I had signed up for the library in January, but I hadn't actually gone to get my physical card. And then I decided, you know what? Now is as good a time as any. I also went through the shelves, especially went through the English language shelves. They weren't huge, but they weren't insignificant. I'll say it like that. And I was actually pretty impressed with the selection. There's a lot of Stephen King there. There's a lot of John Grisham. There seems to be a lot of thrillers in my particular local library. But there's the opportunity to get a book from anywhere around any of the public libraries in Berlin. I can't use my card in the university library, for example. But any of the public libraries in Berlin are pretty much free for use. So I have been looking around at what's available in other places, and I might go and check out one of those in a couple of months. I did come home with something, and there is a slight story behind it. I brought home The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I tried reading this when it first came out. I actually had a NetGalley copy of it, and I gave it a go, but there was something that didn't work. It might have been that it was a second chance romance. It might have just been the characters, because I didn't really love Rodney, who is kind of like thrown in as a separate person who just has to be in the car with them on the way to this wedding that they're all going to. So I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a combination of those two things, that it just didn't particularly work for me. But I feel like I would like to give it another try. So I have got this now for 3 weeks, and I don't think I'm going to pick it up immediately after Book Lovers. I'll see how I'm feeling after it. Maybe I'll be in the mood to try this again. Maybe I want to try something else. But I have got 4 days of uninterrupted reading ahead of me, and I am so excited to kick that off. How many bookmarks is too many? Is it 9? I really love these type of bookmarks. I think they are made by a company called Librio. Legami is actually the one that's at the bottom of this. Throwing it at you. You can see it just down here at the bottom. What I love about these is that you can't really see it because they have a little band that runs the whole way through. I'll get one that I've unwrapped. So they have a band that runs the whole way down through here, and you can put it around your book. I know I've said that a couple of times, but honestly, it has changed my life. I got one when I first moved to Germany 5 years ago, and cut the ribbon off because I couldn't understand why one would need a ribbon that wraps around your book so that you don't lose it. And then I grew up and I realized what the benefit of it actually was. So I didn't just get bookmarks. I also tripped over and picked up 2 books while I was standing up. The first one that I got is By Any Other Name by Lauren Kate. This is about a kind of a book editor. It's got bookish vibes to it. I think it's an author, and anything that has got book vibes, turns out that's my jam. I am loving that aspect of Book Lovers at the moment. So I think I'm going to try and find a couple more of them, see if that's like something that I'm really into. Maybe do a little bit of a deep dive into my personality there. And the next one that I got was The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. This is the 3rd book of the Kiss Quotient series. This follows Kwan, who is Michael's cousin, Michael from the first book, his cousin. And I don't necessarily think that you would have needed to read The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test to have read this one. But now my entire collection is complete. I have also got a NetGalley copy of this, but I think now that it's out in the open and now that it's out for public, I would probably like to read this one as a physical copy. Now that I'm back home, it's about 4:15. I have got a glass of Sal Pellegrino blood orange juice. I'm going to put a fan on because it is boiling hot. And I'm going to sit down and read for a little bit. But also, myself and Michelle from Michelle's Library are hosting reading sprints this evening at about 8. So if I do finish up with Book Lovers, which might happen because I'm about 50% of the way through, and we might do like a 45-minute sprint at least once, I'm going to pick up The Appeal. This is by Janice Hallett. Everybody and their mother is talking about this book at the moment. It's supposed to be a really immersive storytelling because you're reading it not just as a straight prose, but also in the form of interviews, in the form of newspaper clippings, in the form of emails. It's the book for the I Should Have Read That book club, which is run by Shannon, Carys and Charlotte. And I know that they're going to be talking about it on the 27th. And I am home and dry for the evening of the 27th. So if I can read this before then, I promise to them right here, right now, I'm going to join in with the live show. Christos and Nesty. It's Easter. Been saving this little guy for about 2 weeks. His hours are numbered. As I talk, there is an Easter vigil going on outside my window right now. So if we get interrupted by trumpet music, that is not my doing. Last night, the sprints with Michelle went really well. I finished about 20% more of the book, so I really think I'm going to get it finished today. I found it really weird though that I didn't read anything yesterday outside of doing the reading sprints, which has happened to me before when I used to do sprints with another couple of friends of mine. So I'm thinking maybe I've conditioned myself that now I only read during reading sprints. So I'm going to have a little bit of a heavy food day because it's Easter and I deserve to. So I'm going to have our little rabbit friend at some stage over the day. I'm going to make some poached eggs with avocado toast because I've already accepted that I will never buy a house. And at some point in the afternoon, I am going to bake white chocolate and raspberry blondies, and you are more than welcome to watch me. Okay, you don't know. I could have put in poison and not known it. Luckily, this one is fine, but I might have to have a second piece just to be totally sure. And also, if you're going to have a blondie, you have to have tea. The things that I do for quality surveillance are just, it's a sword that I have to fall on, you know? I'm very close to finished Book Lovers, and because of that, it is almost time to pick what bookmark I'm going to use. And that is a genuine thing that I'm going to try and do for this year. As I've said before, I've got a lot of bookmarks that have like a ribbon around them that connect the entire book together. What these bookmarks do is you can wrap it around the book basically, and you never lose your place. Say if the book falls apart, falls into your bag, or you drop it or anything like that, you don't lose your place. I'm trying to match the bookmark to the book cover, like a color scheme that's on it, or the dominant color. The dominant color of this is white, but it does have a little black border. So I'm thinking I'm going to go for a black ribboned bookmark, and I've got 3 options. 1 not opened, and 2 already got opened. So first option is this little one with a velveteen cat on it. There's one on the back as well, but he's just printed on. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this cat thing because I am worried, what if I get it smudged, or what if I get it dirty? And also, if I get it wet, is it going to transfer onto the pages? Then I have also got this one with a German phrase on it that says, Die Kunst zu leben besteht darin, zu lernen, im Regen zu tanzen, anstatt auf die Sonne zu warten, which is basically that the art of life is to learn how to dance in the rain rather than wait for the sunshine. Big 2022 vibes. The one that I don't have opened is this one, and it has got a quote from Alice in Wonderland, how long is forever, sometimes just 1 second. It's got a black band. So I'm going to take a look at all 3, sit with my thoughts until I finish Book Lovers, and it's probably just going to be a whichever one that I reach for first. But if you were in my position, tell me which one you would go for. Very heavily sponsored by Dry Shampoo today, because I just can't be arsed. Last night I finished Book Lovers, and I don't think it's a 5-star read for me. It seems to be, going by the reviews on the Storygraph, going by the reviews on NetGalley, and going by the reviews on Goodreads, it seems to be a 5-star read for so many people. But there were a couple of things that I just didn't love about this book. It's marketed as an enemies to lovers book, but I didn't really get a big feeling of animosity between Charlie and Nora. And I think I would have liked to have seen that played up a little bit more if it's going to be a true enemies to lovers romance. There was a lot of really great flirty banter between the two of them, especially towards the start of the book when they are reading, for some reason, Bigfoot erotica. There's also a little bit of animosity between Nora and her sister, and I get the feeling from a lot of interactions that they've had together. Nora has some abandonment issues. She has some kind of insecurities that I think were portrayed really well. That all said, I really enjoyed this book. There's a lot of bookish references in here. There's a lot of books that are mentioned in passing that Nora and Charlie have read or have worked on or have experienced. And I also loved that there was an appearance by January, who's the main character in Beach Read. I really loved that she appeared as one of the authors with whom Charlie has worked. All of that said, all of that is done. I am going to start the appeal. I am not going to have a lunch break today because I have to have a shorter day at work. So I'm not going to get this done until I get to the bus later on today. But as you can see, I've picked a bookmark. I was at the dentist earlier on for a checkup appointment and to get some stuff started. But I brought the appeal with me. I am currently 55 pages in. I read it over dinner as well. And it's just coming up to 8 o'clock. Tuesday nights are, for the moment, kind of my big TV night. You have got Celebrity Bake Off, which I think is coming to an end tonight anyway. But also the final season of Derry Girls started last week. A couple of people I know who have read this have said that they kind of picked it up and then just didn't stop reading. And I know that that is the kind of book that this is, because I am already, like, my brain is just hopping with questions and theories and confusions. There's one particular character who I cannot understand. I don't know why she does any of the things that she's doing. I should already be asleep. It's 20 to 1. But I've had the evening. You know when you pick up a book and you feel like it's just going to be a casual reading experience, you're just going to get through a couple of 100 pages or just a couple of chapters and then you're going to get on with the rest of your night. You might go back to the book, you might pick it up again before you go to bed. Well, that did not happen this evening. I came home from work at 7 o'clock and picked up The Appeal by Janice Hallett. At that stage, I was about 100 pages in. And then I simply did not stop reading. I completely neglected to cook. I got a takeaway because I literally did not want to leave the book down for the 20 minutes it would have taken me to make what I was planning to have for dinner. It is one of the most clever books I have ever read. It's the kind of book where you genuinely think you have got something figured out, and then you are taken way down the street and taken down 7 missed turns and 4 different roads that you never thought you were going to go down. From how I can explain it, it follows a group of actors who are putting on an amateur production of an Arthur Miller play that is not The Crucible. I cannot remember the name of it. I think it's All My Sons. One of the directors, their family is affected by cancer, and there's a whole side plot of their illness, fundraising for some treatments that the person is going through. There are so many questions raised. There are so many questions answered. I picked up my block of post-it notes and filled in 12 post-it notes of just ideas and theories and outcomes and things that I had picked up on and things that were making me think this is something to keep an eye on for the future. As I said, it's one of the most clever books I think I've ever read. It is, as of today, the best book that I've read so far this year. It's going to be a really tough topic to try and top this book. Be sure that if I haven't forced this book upon you, check my pulse. There's a very good chance I'm not alive anymore. Now I have to suffer through a book hangover for possibly the rest of my life. I have got an audiobook going. I have got the audiobook of Here's Looking at You by Varya McFarlane. I'm about 10 chapters into it, I think. I don't know how I feel about it. It's got a couple of tropes that I'm not super in love with. It's got like the ugly duckling trope. It's got second chance romances or hate to love. And I'm not entirely certain that I'm in love with it, but I am reading it as part of my 15 before 30, which desperately needed attention coming to this late stage of the game with so few books on the list actually ticked off. What am I going to read for tomorrow? I have absolutely zero idea. That is probably going to keep me awake for the rest of the night. Also, I specifically did not read any reviews for The Appeal. I really wanted to go into this with a completely free mind, no expectations, even though it was hyped to heaven. I think I'm going to go and have a look at a couple of Goodreads reviews. There's a couple of friends of mine that I know have read it, and I'm going to have a little chat with them, possibly tomorrow, about how they liked the book, what their thoughts of the book were. Am I going to read something physical? Am I going to read something on my Kindle? Am I just not going to read for the rest of the month? Who knows? Go and read it. That's all I have to say to you. Go and read it. Finished the first 2 Heartstopper books, and now I don't know what to do with myself. It's Wednesday evening. God knows what day of the week it is. My brother was in town visiting me until yesterday evening. So yesterday dropped him back to the airport. Came back home via the dentist where I had to do signing some forms and filling stuff out. And when I came back, I made the executive decision to DNF Mad About You by Barry McFarlane, for the simple reason that it was hitting a nerve with the type of relationship that's in there. It's not the relationship that Harriet is in at the moment, but it is one that she has been in the past. It was emotionally abusive, it was manipulative, there was gaslighting, and that's something that's a bit of a sore spot and a trigger point for me. So having gotten to about 50% of the book, and usually when I'm about 50% in, I'll just keep going. But this time, it was just hitting a little bit too close to home for me to keep going. I've also decided to DNF the audiobook of Here's Looking at You, also by Barry McFarlane. Don't take this as Barry McFarlane hate. I actually have enjoyed a couple of other books by her. It's just that I wasn't engaged in this one. It wasn't really grabbing my attention as much as I would have liked it to, as much as I would have hoped it to. So I think it's just best that I leave that one to the side. It's just coming on to 8:10. So in 20 minutes, myself, Shannon, Carys and Charlotte are all going to sit down and talk about The Appeal, the one by Janice Hallett. I'm not joking you when I tell you I have come prepared. I have got screenshots. I have got post-it notes. I have got thoughts. I understood the assignment. I have got so much to talk about with this book. If you have missed the live show, please go back to Carys' channel and catch up on it, because I am sure we are going to have quite a lot to discuss. As I said, I have just finished the first 2 books of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I wanted, like with any other book, to read the books before I went and watched the series. I feel like that engrosses me in the story a little bit more. I know what's going on. I know who the characters are. I kind of know what to expect from the adaptation, even if they do change stuff up, put stuff in, take stuff out. When I have got a spare moment over the weekend, I'm going to put the entire series on and just binge it. I'm going to go streamlining from one episode to the next, and I am genuinely really excited because I am in love with these books. I absolutely 100% am on the hype train. This is one of, if not the most comforting books I have read this year so far. And it's definitely a series that I'm going to go back to if I'm having a down moment, if I feel like I need a little bit of a perk up or a pick me up. I am definitely going to go back to the Heartstopper series. As I said, I've only read the first 2. I don't have access to the second 2 at the moment. I don't know if they're on Scribd. They are definitely not in my library, either here or back at home. And I also don't know if they are in one of the English bookshops here, but I know for certain I don't have the second 2 books on my Kindle. So I'm gonna have to seek them out because I need to finish this up. Look, if I sound weird, which I do, I got my dentures fitted literally an hour ago for the first time, and we're getting used to them. But I have to wrap this vlog up because it has to go up tomorrow. I did start the road trip. I don't know how I feel about it. I know why I DNF'd it the first time that I read it. And I think the same problems are starting to come up again. The things that I didn't love about it. The things that I thought were a little bit odd. That didn't really enamor me to the couple in the book. Definitely having the same vibe here. I don't know if I'm going to DNF it again or finish it and then bring it back to the library as you saw. But that feels like a really nice way to bookend the video, starting and finishing by talking about the same book, right? Me and my mouth are going to start practicing some speech exercises so that the next time you hear from me, I'm not going to sound like I'm choking on something. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, getting on out of here.